Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 8 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Robin, not too long ago, you and I went to a fast food restaurant.
Yeah.
And it took a little bit longer than usual for the food to make its way to us. But we were patient. We stood there. And the young lady who brought us the food, finally, she said, I'm so sorry about the wait. Here's your food. And I made a joke. I said, don't worry about the wait. I've been heavy for a long time now. And of course, a big chuckle, right? Big joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought, I'm making fun of my own physique. And really, I should be doing something about this. Now, look at these statistics right here. Obesity leads to diabetes, and listen to this one. According to the Center for Disease Control, by the year 2030, there will be over 500,000 new cases per year in, are you ready for the last three words? Obesity-related cancer.
Okay.
All right. So there's the sobering words right there. If diabetes too didn't scare you, then cancer will scare you. And I'm including myself in that big YOU word right there. Linda Mislet Wagner gave us an awesome interview not too long ago. She is an inspirational lady. She's a speaker, a motivational speaker, and she's written a book. It's called Get Me Out of This Fat Suit, Confessions of a True Fatty. And there's a website associated with this, newdiabetesrx.com, I believe, and she'll correct anything I've got wrong. Good morning, Linda. Good to have you on again.
Oh, good morning. Thank you for having me on. I love you guys. I love working with y'all.
Oh, excellent. And thank you for saying that. Where are you? I always forget where you are.
San Diego, California.
San Diego. Okay, I knew you were out west somewhere. Well, thank you for getting up early again to be with us. How long ago did we speak last?
It was at the time when the 11-year-old girl had received that letter from school saying that she has a propensity to be fat.
It's about 5 weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I knew there was a child who got a letter. So this wasn't the Halloween woman that was putting notes in the bags of children who she decided were too heavy, and she wouldn't give them candy. Instead, she gave them a note to take home to mom and dad. Did you hear that one?
I didn't, and I'll tell you, to hear that is absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking. I happen to know someone that lost about 220 pounds having gastric bypass surgery, and he thought it would be okay to go up to people in restaurants that needed to lose weight and give them a surgeon's phone number. And I said, you can't do something like that. He says, I'm trying to help them. I said, no, what you're doing is you're humiliating them. This is somebody that already knows they have a weight problem. They don't need you to point it out, and if they're looking for a surgeon, they're capable of finding that surgeon or finding that outlet that'll help.
Yeah.
Because it is very personal.
It's very personal. And the thing is that a lot of times people think that just push the plate away. Why don't you just push the plate away? If it was that easy, nobody would be fat.
Yeah. Well, it is interesting. I mean, I know there's a lot of science behind why a person would become obese and why certain societies don't seem to have that problem. But I'm telling you, we interview people every day, Linda, and we talk about medical issues and weight loss issues and nutrition. I guess I'll include that into this. So often we'll have an author on who will disagree with the guy before him. It's so confusing,
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's because there's just such a vast amount of information and out there for people. And, depending on their own personal experiences, some people will say you have to go low carb. Other people say you have to, have high carbs, good carbs, a lot of energy, and, good fats, bad fats. I say use some common sense. Take a look at what your body responds to. For myself, when I eat things that are high in carbs, I feel sluggish. I have no energy. But when I have healthy carbs, such as good fruits and vegetables, and I'm eating some lean protein, oh my gosh, I'm like the train that can't stop.
Yeah, that's my experience too. I actually can relate exactly to what you're saying right there. So can we get real personal with you? What is your situation?
please.
I think last time you kind of helped us out with this anyway, but maybe refresh our memory about what you're going through.
Sure. Myself, I've been heavy most of my life. It's been a constant battle for me. And I've only had about 5 years where I was at a healthy weight in my entire life. About 19, forgive me, no, it was 7 years ago, I decided to have a gastric bypass surgery, and I lost almost 250 pounds. I did great for the first 5 years. And then I had some personal tragedy hit me, and I would have reverted right back to my old habits, and I put on 115 of those precious pounds back.
Because the tragedy.
Yeah, because you know what? I deal with food. I deal with emotional problems by eating.
Because it comforts you somehow, right?
Exactly. It sets off the hormones that just seem to comfort. You know, I had an interesting conversation with one of my coworkers. She has a problem with adult acne, and it's driving her crazy. She can't get rid of it. And she said to me, I don't know what am I going to do. It all comes out when I'm under stress. And I looked at her and I said, you and I have the same problem. Your stress shows with adult acne. My stress shows with extra weight.
Wow, and that is so insightful of you to have some comparisons, because then you have a buddy to lean on. You have a person whom you can call and she can call you.
Well, you know, that's one of the best things about when you want to lose weight and how to beat the cheat, how to get past those cravings. I always say there's a lot of simple things we can do, such as call a friend. Most of the times when we're craving something, it's like 20 minutes. If we can get past 20 minutes, then that craving will go away.
Oh, that's
so
interesting.
Call a friend and start talking. Yeah, just have a good time. Put on some music.
Yeah.
Get into your living room, put on some music, and start dancing and jumping around and having a good time. Those endorphins will kick in, and all of a sudden you won't be so hungry.
And so that's one trick you're using. Are you? We had a guy in here one time, and he substituted his bad habit, whatever it was. I don't remember if it was Little Debbie's or something like that. It was some kind of like the junkiest food you can get at the store. Mm-hmm. And he substituted it with grapes. Remember that guy?
Yeah, I do. He froze them.
And that's how, he froze the grapes, and that was his thing. Instead of going to, when he had that moment like you're talking about, instead of going to the fridge and getting the Little Debbie, which I think is what it was, he would grab a bag of frozen grapes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense to me.
That's pretty smart. Yeah, that's pretty smart. I discovered one of my favorite things is frozen yogurt. And there's a place by my home that sells this frozen yogurt called Dream Delight. It's 8 calories per ounce.
Wow.
It's fabulous. It's lactose-free, sugar-free, low-carb. So if I get the mini, that's 8 ounces. It's 64 calories. And I'm telling you, when I need that chocolate fix, it does it, and it doesn't kill my diet.
So I hope I'm not being inappropriate by asking you how you're doing now. How are you doing with your efforts to lose weight?
I have dropped. I fluctuate so far between 20 to 25 pounds off.
Well, good for you.
And I'm going strong.
I think maybe last time you were on, we had a discussion about people we've known who lost weight too quickly, and how while they were thinner, they didn't look good. And in fact, one guy we know died. We don't know that he died. I always had this theory that he died because he wasn't eating any protein, because all of a sudden it was all salad completely.
Yeah, and his skin wasn't the right color.
And I don't know. I'm not an expert, and of course I don't know his personal circumstance, but you got to be careful. I mean, it sounds like you're doing it smart. You're not in a hurry, right?
You know what? I can't be in a hurry because I just can't handle it mentally. To be honest with you, that's been my whole problem. I'm an all-or-nothing kind of girl. And it gets me into trouble because I just want to go gung-ho. And then when I fail, I feel miserable because I feel like I couldn't keep in control. So that's part of the process. That's one of the reasons why I like Erin's program, because it's about making small changes into large, huge changes.
Okay, now
Let's just take one little thing and change it at a time.
Let's mention who Erin is. Erin is Erin Snyder. He's also a diabetic and obesity survivor, correct?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
He looks fabulous. 8% body fat. Oh, I could wish for it.
So the book is not done yet, right? It's going to be coming out, I think you said in June or so?
Yes.
Okay, so are you
We're
right?
looking forward to it.
When we finally read it, are we going to read like what you're doing today? Like, will you have a page that says, "Oh, I spoke to Larry and Robin on the radio today"?
You better believe it.
One of
It's my
the
story from being a kid all the way through up to this point of what's gotten me through and why I've turned to food. You know, all the different things in my life that got me in this direction, and how I've learned to try to cope and get past it. And the bottom line is no matter what your weight is, you gotta love yourself for who you are, because our weight is not who we are. It's not our character.
And in your bio, your emotions kind of ran rampant because you said you were very athletic until about the age of 11, and then that's when you started to spiral downward. So it's not that you always had this problem.
Well, I was one of those kind of big, thick, vacuum-packed tuna kind of kids, you know, where I was thick, but I was not fat. And then when I was 11 years old, I started middle school, and I discovered Frosties for a dime in the school cafeteria.
Oh, wow.
I will tell you, I made sure I had a dime every single day, Monday through Friday.
And what's a Frosty? Like from Wendy's,
Ice
you mean?
cream?
It's like a really super thick milkshake. You need a spoon to eat it.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my goodness, I got to tell you guys, between the time of 7th grade and 8th grade, I gained 20 pounds.
Oh,
Between
my gosh.
6th and 7th, 20 pounds.
Yeah, but you're growing up.
Between 8th and 9th, 20 pounds.
Okay.
Oh,
That's a lot of weight, 60 pounds.
And sometimes people can be rebellious because if people are telling other people what to do, they're not going to do it. The good example is, lately is the U.S. government. They've had their hand in the private retail food industry for a long time, and now all of a sudden they're trying to regulate trans fat, and it's not the regulation that the government should be worried about. It's the education for people, and people want to be able to make up their own minds. They don't want to be told what they should eat and what they shouldn't, because then they feel like the government is calling them stupid, so they figure, what the heck, I might as well not do anything good for myself.
You know, Robin, you bring up a really valid point. A lot of times people ask me, well, Linda, if I'm on a diet, what should I eat or what shouldn't I eat? And it's the wrong question to ask. You have to listen to your body. You know, as I said before, when I eat proteins and healthy carbs, fruits and vegetables, I feel great. And most people that are obese have a problem with carbs. We don't process sugar properly. That's why the up in diabetes and insulin that's out of control. And so you got to just listen to your body. I have friends that can eat anything they want. That's how their body is. But they process sugar right, and they move constantly.
Okay, so you gave us one trick, the 20-minute trick. I like that trick. So you find yourself craving, and you say, okay, I'm going to do something else for 20 minutes, get my mind off of this, call a friend, or do something. Do you have like something in the refrigerator, like to go to this and not to that? It was a book we had like that, right?
Yeah.
Do you have that kind of approach?
I do. I keep things like sugar-free pudding and sugar-free Jell-O always on hand.
Uh-huh.
Because it's something sweet, it's something I can grab. I keep lots of fruits and vegetables ready to go. You don't even have to take the time to cut them up. I mean, I do. But if you can go in the store and buy them already cut up in the little baggies, and you just grab it.
Linda
You're not going to gain weight eating that.
Linda Wagner is our guest, and she's working on a book. It's not out yet, but we've got a website to tell you about called newdiabetesrx.com, and that's also where we referred to Aaron Snyder earlier. Aaron is the author of, he was on with us once before. In fact, I think he was on the same day you were on last time. His book is called The New Diabetes Prescription, and Linda's book will be called Get Me Out of This Fat Suit, Confessions of a True Fatty. Let's go to the phone, take a call. Good morning, you're on the air with Linda. I guess not. So I hung up. Okay. But you are welcome to call if you'd like to be on the air with us. Do you have, are you writing a blog? Is that what this is coming from, the book?
Actually, the book was done before I started the blog. I just wrote my 100th blog for Aaron's website.
Oh, the book is
And
done.
the book is, well, we're in the editing process. The actual writing of the book was done. Now we're editing. And so that's a process in itself.
Oh, okay. And so we learned from the book how you lost weight, right?
You learn from the book my story of how I gained weight, really.
Oh, okay.
What got me to this point? What got me to the point where I couldn't control myself anymore? What was the things in my life that were the triggers that put on weight on me that I got to the point of being 430 pounds?
Okay.
Gosh.
Now again,
You know-
I don't want to cross the line, but I wanted to ask you something, and I hope it's not too insensitive. You mentioned you had a tragedy, but you did not say what it was. Can we ask what it is? And if you don't want to say, that's okay.
You know what? I tell everything in my book up to that point
Okay.
because it's still too hard for me to.
Okay.
I'm still working it out.
Okay.
Trust me, at some point I'll be comfortable to talk about it. But you know, when you're trying to work things out in your own head,
Right. But but to make that an important part of this conversation, we have to understand that it is that thing, whatever that tragedy was, and we all might have something like that might have been the trigger that caused us to maybe have some behaviors that ended up with us not be happy with our physical bodies. Is that fair to say?
you know, I think if we don't even think about it that much, I think that's putting a lot of thought into it. I think when we're so unhappy with a situation, when we're feeling so out of control, and that's the crux of it. When in our lives something is so out of control, the one thing we can control is what we put in our mouth. But then Robin mentioned rebellion, and that's the thing. Your mind is telling you you shouldn't be eating this, but the other part of you, the emotional side of you, is saying, I don't care. Right now, I don't care. I need something to get me past this. That you just mindlessly will go for it, and you can tell yourself no to the point where you forget. You know, it looks like some people will gain 5 pounds and they're able to stop and lose that weight. 5 pounds to me is in a night, one sitting.
Huh.
Oh my gosh.
You know, Tony Robbins was on our show years ago. I guess when he was kind of first starting out. Now he's become a mega star. Do you know who Tony Robbins is, first of all?
I sure do. He's
Okay.
here in San Diego.
Yeah, and he told us that he needed to lose weight at one point, and he said to himself, "How could I ever go without eating pizza?" But he decided, I'm not going to eat pizza anymore. So he absolutely quit pizza, and I don't know if he ever went back and started eating pizza again. But I thought, well, that's kind of a way to do it. You can kind of quit one food or one group of foods or one whatever, and in a similar way that I absolutely quit smoking cigars. 6
Oh, way to go
or
for you.
7 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, it's been a while.
But it's easy to quit something you don't need. It's hard. You can't quit food. You need food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's the whole thing. That's the whole crux of the dilemma. You need to eat to live, but you don't need to smoke. You don't need to drink.
Right.
You don't need to gamble. So this addiction is really, really hard because we need it to live. And it's finding that place where you can look at yourself. Like I get up every single morning and I look around me and see who has the biggest butt that needs kicking, that needs to get into shape. It's always mine.
Mm-hmm.
It's my head that needs straightening out. It's my thinking that needs straightening out. So I give myself, I call it my Rocky talk. I pretend I'm Rocky and I'm out there for that fight.
Right.
I'm fighting for myself. I hear the song in my head and I fight for myself. I said, Linda, you can do this.
So
You can do this. You'll get through today.
So who do you turn to for support? Who's on your team?
Oh, I'm so lucky. I have the most amazing family and friends and my husband, my kids. You know, they believe in me so much. Every single day they make me feel like I am the most amazing woman in the world. And I think to myself, golly, I'm so ordinary. And they look at me like I'm crazy. And you have the kind of, they go, Mom, are you kidding me? You're insane.
Well, motivation is an important factor in losing weight, but sometimes that motivation is for the wrong reasons, especially now when the holidays are coming up. Some women will all of a sudden do those quick fixes. They'll go on diet pills. They'll just do anything so they can fit into those super slinky holiday dresses. And then by the time the holiday season is over, they're back to their old habits again because they haven't really train themselves to eat the right way.
Can I give you some tips for how to get through the holidays?
Yes.
Yeah, let's hear them.
Okay. One of the things you can do is, if you're going to a party, you know you're going to be going to one event after another, and you have some things that are there that are your favorites, have what I call bite-sized, little tasting of your favorites. Don't have a whole big slice of it or a whole big spoon of it. Just tastings. Another thing you can do is offer the hostess to bring something. It will take something off of her, and you can bring something healthy that you can enjoy that others can enjoy as well. And then get on the internet and start looking. Isn't that easy?
Yeah.
So what would that be, like celery and peanut butter or something?
No, seriously. You know, I'll tell you something. I make this terrific dish where I take chicken thighs, and I clean them really good, and I stuff them with spinach and with light Swiss cheese, and I Parmesan them and season them and bake them in the oven. And then I take some more spinach and I put it in the blender after I cook it nice and warm with a little bit more of this light Swiss cheese and pour it on top.
Oh, wow. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it's low carb. It's low in calorie. You're not using any fats because I pan the bottom of the tray when I bake the chicken.
Mm-hmm.
It's a win-win. And then you bring it to a party and you're a hit. But it's something delicious that everybody can enjoy.
There you go. Linda Misla Wagner. Am I saying your middle name correctly, Misla?
No, that's actually my maiden name, but I kept it
Okay.
as part of my last name.
Okay, but I'm saying it correctly?
Misla, you got it right on.
Okay. And how are the speaking engagements? Do you do a lot of them?
I'm just starting to do them. I'm looking forward to doing many, many more. I love talking to people. I love reaching out to them, and I love to hear their stories. It does a couple of things for me. One, I'm hopefully able to help somebody and motivate someone else. But believe it or not, their feedback motivates me and keeps me going, too.
Linda, thank you for being on the air with us today. Before we say goodbye, let's make sure our listeners have the websites that will help them. The one that I know about is newdiabetesrx.com, newdiabetesrx.com. How do we get to your blog?
If you just go on to newdiabetesrx.com, you'll see my blogs right there. Aaron has a really great picture, huge, pardon the pun, of me right on it.
He likes you.
That was I love him. That's my starting picture. And this year I promised what I was going to do is I was going to take video of me as I go along the way, losing more weight, and video of me actually working out. So don't run. We're in this together.
There you
Wow,
go. There you go.
that's
I found
courage.
it. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at your blog right now.
You're very, very courageous. We have to commend you for that.
Wow.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And I appreciate the forum because it really, I think, if we can make people feel good about themselves, no matter where they're at, it's not about what they weigh, it's about who they are. If they don't like your weight, do something about it. If you're happy with it, hey, you know?
You know, people who speak the way you do, so honestly and candidly, make a huge difference beyond what you will ever know. And we know it because we get feedback from the listeners, sometimes months later. An example would be Richard Simmons was in here, not in this, another station we worked at, and months later, somebody called up and said, you know, remember that interview you did? Of course, we remembered it because he's a famous guy.
Yeah.
But we remember you, too. You're famous to us.
Right.
Well, thank you.
But the point, I guess the point is that sometimes, you know, you, especially with something like losing weight, it takes a long time before you really say, you know what, I think I'm successful at this. So,
Yes.
Linda,
Well, God willing, we'll all be future former fatties, is what I like to say.
Linda, thank you for being on the air with us today.
Thank you both so much. I really appreciate it. I love your show. You guys are terrific.
And have a great holiday season if we don't speak to you before then, okay?
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll take a little break. We'll be right back.
Today in Florida Ag News from the Southeast AgNet, well, when you talk input costs for our farmers, a large portion of that is often dedicated to energy expenses. But Mark Lightman, Director of Business Development and Marketing for the Propane Education and Research Council, or PERC, wants farmers to know that there is a less expensive option: propane.
Propane engines can help farmers pump water, power electrical generators, even power vehicles or forklifts on the farm. But in particular for irrigation, you can quickly save a lot of money on fuel costs by converting some diesel-powered pumps or even electrical-powered pumps over to propane. Use a domestically produced American-made energy in propane that's clean-burning and it's cost-effective and save some money immediately.
And Lightman adds that in addition to the short and long-term cost savings and environmental benefits, they're also offering further incentives for farmers.
We're kind of trying to reintroduce them into the farm. We're trying to encourage farmers, take an engine, try it, tell us how your experience went. We're willing to give you some money for doing that. We have something called the Propane Farm Incentive Program. At agpropane.com, you can learn the details and apply in seconds, but basically a farmer can get up to $400 per liter of engine size, and that incentive is paid up front as a rebate. But we ask you to use the engine for 1 year, report back to us on fuel cost savings, hours of use, things of that nature, and that information helps us improve the products down the road and make more products in the future.
And so far this year, the Propane Farm Incentive Program has been a huge success, with PERC distributing $627,000 in purchase incentives for propane-fueled irrigation engines, grain dryers, and other propane-fueled farm equipment to 219 farmers throughout the U.S. However, funds are still available for the programs. So again, a reminder of that website.
agpropane.com. You can learn about our farm incentive program, see a fuel cost savings calculator where you can physically enter the price you're paying for propane, enter the price you're paying for diesel, see where the break-evens are, and see how much money you could save by switching over to propane.
Julie McPeak with Southeast AgNet.
Habitat for Humanity of Marion County is a ministry dedicated to improving lives by providing affordable and decent housing. Help them help others by visiting the Habitat for Humanity Ocala home store on Northwest 27th Avenue. To schedule a donation, give them a call and they'll come and pick it up. For more information, visit habitatocala.org. Habitat for Humanity of Marion County, building homes, building hope, building community.
Looking for hand-cut steaks or just plain good food made from scratch daily? Then head over to Cody's Original Roadhouse for a fun, casual, family-friendly meal. Plus, don't miss the best happy hour with 2 for $1, everything from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day, including top shelf. Unwind and watch your favorite college or pro team on one of our many high-def TVs. Cody's, you won't go home hungry or broke. You'll just go home happy. Cody's Original Roadhouse, where quality and value come together.
Here are today's headlines from the source, WOCA. The Marion County Sheriff's Office is reporting that they are searching for a woman who robbed the Alarian Bank on Southwest State Road 200 yesterday shortly after 1 p.m. Authorities believe she may also be responsible for robbing a bank in St. Petersburg 3 months ago. According to the report, the 40 to 50-year-old female robber entered the Alarian Bank at 7605 Southwest State Road 200, approached a teller, and showed the employee a note and her purse. Inside the purse was the handle of what appeared to be a handgun. After receiving an undetermined amount of cash, the woman fled in a 4-door, sun-faded or maroon older model Honda Accord. The suspect was described as a 5'2", 170 to 175-pound black woman with bad teeth, wearing a blue dress, a brown wig, and large gold hoop earrings. Anyone with information about the Marion County robbery can call the Sheriff's Office at 732-9111 or Crime Stoppers at 368-STOP, or you can go online to ocalacrimestoppers.com. The Marion County Sheriff's Office is reporting the arrest of a 63-year-old Ocala man allegedly caught with his hand on the private area of a 91-year-old woman at an assisted living facility. The man, identified as Charles W. Messina, was charged early yesterday morning with lewd or lascivious battery, molestation, or exhibition with the elderly or disabled. His bail was set at $10,000. The Marion County Sheriff's Office received a report late Monday night from the staff at Emeritus at Ocala West at 9070 Southwest 80th Avenue, stating that Messina was visiting the 91-year-old woman when they heard her saying, "Stop, that hurts." The woman suffers from dementia and is in the memory care unit. A staff member at the facility said that when she and a coworker heard the resident say, "Stop, that hurts," they went to her door, which was locked. They used their keys to open the door. She said the lights were off, and when they flipped them back on, Messina, who was standing on the right side of the bed, appeared startled. She said the woman's blanket was pulled down and Messina's hand was on the woman's genitals. Messina has denied the accusations. We might be able to drive a little faster on our highways legally. A bipartisan bill was filed yesterday that would allow a 75-mile-per-hour speed limit on some highways. While some drivers believe it'll make a big difference behind the wheel, others fear it will make it less safe. The bipartisan bill would allow the speed limit increase on highways with at least 4 lanes. State senators from St. Petersburg and Lake Worth are behind the bill. They say the idea is to adjust speed limits to reflect what most drivers are already driving. The proposal would direct the Florida Department of Transportation to determine the safe minimum and maximum speed limits on all divided highways that have at least 4 lanes. Department of Transportation would then be able to increase the speed limit on the Florida highways to 75 miles per hour. The proposal will be considered during the 2014 legislative session. At this time, there's no Florida House sponsor for that legislation. Walt Disney Company's cruise line will base all 4 of its ships in Florida during early 2015, with 3 sailing out of Port Canaveral in Central Florida. It will be the second year in a row that Disney Cruise Line will have its entire fleet spend a sizable chunk of its time sailing Caribbean and Bahama cruises from Florida, a schedule that allows the company to take full advantage of its privately owned island in the Bahamas called Castaway Cay. Yesterday's announcement came days after the company's top executive told stock analysts that Disney sees limited possibilities for new routes in the near future because, unlike bigger cruise lines such as Carnival Cruise Lines and Royal Caribbean International, Disney targets family cruisers. And those are the headlines from The Source, WOCA 96.3 FM and 1370 AM.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Life jackets save lives. Wear it, Florida. Some sunshine today and windy and cooler than recent days. There can be a shower mainly near the coast. The high 61 in the northernmost part of the zone to 71 in the southernmost part. Partly cloudy and quite chilly tonight. There may be a shower near the coast. Lows ranging from the upper 40s in a few inland spots to 63 at the beaches. Tomorrow, intervals of clouds and sun and breezy. There can be a shower along the coast. The high tomorrow 70 to 74. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Time again for the Silver Springs Lions Train Show, November 16th and 17th at the National Guard Armory, 900 Southwest 20th Street in Ocala. Times are 9 to 4 on Saturday, 10 to 3 on Sunday. $4 admission for adults, children 12 and under free with a paying adult. You bring in a can of food or a non-perishable item, it's $1 off admission. Come join us for operating train layouts, new and old trains, good food, and just a lot of fun. See you at the show.
Now is the time to take advantage of Florida Credit Union's CD specials. Our 36-month CD comes in at 1.26% APY. A 24-month is working for you at 1.0% APY. And our 12-month at 0.75% APY. All CD rate specials require $10,000 minimum. With friendly service and rates like these, it's not hard to see why Florida Credit Union has your CD options covered. Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life. Call 352-237-8222 for more information.
Universal Soil Solutions wants to know when the last time you took a good look at your property. Noticed any driveway cracks, stair-step cracks in your block, or even foundation cracks? It may or may not be a sinkhole, but a visual inspection by a trained professional must be performed. Experts in sinkhole remediation, cosmetics, remodeling, and even complete construction development. Universal Soil Solutions provides that inspection for free. To schedule your free property inspection, you must call now. 877-519-2777. That's 877-519-2777.
Reducing the Gulf hypoxia zone. That story